Hello, folks! Greetings and salutations to all of our guys, gals, and non-binary, gender non-conforming pals. Welcome to another episode of The Mind and the Martyr. It's been a week. It's been 2 weeks, actually, because we needed to go ahead and just get over 2020 a little bit more. Rest ourselves up, get ourselves ready to go. And I want to jump in real quick here because I'm super excited to see what happens. So, jump in we shall. Just need to go ahead and cover a couple of things, namely our wonderful sponsors. Our first sponsor, the wonderful folks at So Nerdware. So Nerdware is a service that provides a couple of really fantastic different ways of getting your favorite merchandise for various different TTRPGs, TTRPG streamers, and Burritos Black Lives Matter run as well. They have a whole bunch of various different kinds of paraphernalia, and if you go ahead and throw in the code FRIENDS, that's friends, you get 10% off your order. They are a small business, LGBT owned, and they're pretty cool. So yeah, go ahead and check them out. We also have the wonderful folks at Grinding Coffee. Coffee is the lifeblood of most people on the interwebs at the moment, especially if you are me, being British, and it is 2 a.m. and you need to be able to function. Coffee is the way to do it. So, Grinding Coffee do a fantastic variation of different kinds of coffee, whether it be different kinds of brew or different kinds of flavors. You can go ahead and try out either a full pack or a group of sample packs if you're not entirely sure, or you're indecisive and you just want to get a little bit of everything, because I know that's the thing too. Go ahead and throw in FWRD into the check out there for 13% off your order, and you will be supporting a Black LGBT plus owned business. All right,
but
we are
question,
also.
has the British person considered going to sleep at a human hour?
Well, if
Moving swiftly on.
If a British person considered to do that, we wouldn't have a stream.
I was gonna say yes. If you would like to, if you would like to start playing at weird times, then that's fine.
Every day but Monday. On Mondays, you can have a fucked up sleep schedule. The rest of the week,
Yeah.
sleep.
True, that's fair.
Other than that, we are part of the wonderful streaming group Emporium that we are we're going to be doing something for them very, very soon to do with supporting a breast cancer charity, which we are super looking forward to. The details are not fully confirmed, so I'm not going to say too much more. But if you take a look at Friends Roll Dice, you will find a GM sign-up sheet. So if there's anything in particular that you want to run and you want to get involved with helping us go ahead and raise some money for charity, then go ahead and take a look there. We're super excited to get involved with it. And we will be getting involved with a few more Emporium things as the year goes along, as there's some really cool events lined up and we want to go and support our friends. So yeah, go ahead and check all of the Emporium streamers out too. Speaking of Emporium, I believe there's a little time left to go ahead and get in your sign-ins if you want to become an Emporium member. So go ahead and check out at Emporium Twitch on Twitter for that. And come out, hang out with some awesome people. It's great. We just play Among Us nights and support each other. It's just full of love. It's great. All right. Awesome. Is there anything I've missed? I always have to check. I don't believe so. I think we're good. All right. Fantastic. Did anybody want to recap, or would you like me to? Cool. That is absolutely fine. So, where we last left off with these fantastic individuals, you all had a rather rude awakening as you roused yourself from a quaint village slumber to find quite the military presence in front of you. you met Sinclair, one of the head commanders of the military of the neighboring country of Ansaya. This country has been concerned both with a lack of contact with Zenri's monarch and a lack of really any news coming through. The only news they've had recently being the destruction of Zetain due to the infestation of the Kruthic there. Sinclair had brought a small group of soldiers, unfortunately not the most elite or well-trained individuals, but had brought them to attempt to either find the monarch or quell the menace, or hopefully both. You decided to offer your services after Sinclair gave you a proposition for you to go ahead and scout ahead and see what you can do in the city to both alleviate the threat and judge how dire it is. During your preparations with this mission, you got into contact with a few old friends. It seems that a few of them were indisposed, but Torn has agreed to help you deal with the situation that got him into a lot of trouble in the first place. It's a little personal for that individual. A little trek further on, and you find yourselves at Zetain, or what's left of it. A huge, writhing, bulbous mass of flesh rising above, far higher than any of the walls, any of the parapets, any of the towers that surround the city. The hive almost itself seems to be alive in and of itself, reacting to the wind and the temperature as the night goes on. Well, the day goes on, I should say. You all arrive, meet with Torn, and Orin goes ahead and sends his little construct Jack ahead to see whether anything would happen. Upon crossing this small threshold, a large jaw comes up and wraps around Jack and pulls him into the ground, upon which you then decided to go ahead and take a small rest as you prepared for the events that are about to take place. We find ourselves here now just outside the city. The day has not changed much in terms of its weather or its temperature. It is still relatively sunny, relatively mild. Quite a jarring sight as behind you you see the beautiful rolling meadows, flowers, insects, trees, and then in front of you, the destruction that is now Zetain. The creature that had attacked Jack hasn't moved at all. It is, as far as you know, still in the ground on the entrance ramp to the city itself. Keeping an eye during your short rest across the towers and the parapets and this mass itself, there doesn't seem to be any other creatures that you can see. Nothing flying, nothing scaling the walls, nothing on top of the towers. Seems relatively bare.
Okay, listen up. We need sap. Lots and lots of sticky sap. And we just feed them lots of sap in their jaws that get stuck. Then they can't bite us.
You've been
Easier to
thinking
kill.
about this idea all night.
Just for the last 2 hours.
So where are we getting this sap from?
I don't know. We're in a meadow, right? Correct. So there are no trees around?
There weren't trees close to us, if I remember correctly.
Not close to you. There's, if you took like a 10-15 minute way across, you could go ahead and cut some trees down.
I mean, technically there is one tree close to us.
Well, yeah, but I don't know that her blood is sappy. So any of the trees we passed on the way here, Jacaranda, are any of those sap-giving trees?
Are they? Yeah.
Sap giving is perhaps not
Producing?
Yes, not the correct term. Yeah, there are a few larger trees that would be able to produce a kind of the standard viscous sap that you would be thinking of.
But probably not enough for what is in mind.
Probably not enough, no. Realistically, you'd need a lot of sap. You would be probably cutting down a fair few trees, or at least damaging a fair few trees.
Cut them down.
You can just tap them.
I mean, if you have the equipment to tap trees on you, then yeah.
And it would come out a lot more slowly, so you'd have even less than what. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can have the army when they get here, or on their way, gather sap.
Question for Oren and oh my gosh, why am I blanking on names?
Arden.
Yes, there we go. I see it. It's actually updated. Aridin, you've experienced fight with these creatures before, and did you get any insights on what harms them the most? I know we said there were dragons at one time that fought them.
Not with us. When we fought them, they seemed to be attracted to the eggs that were being used, to basically as bait to attract them to a certain location. They tend to fight with claws and teeth. They're pretty tough as far as armor's concerned. Very, chitinous kind of shell.
And they can shoot the spines.
That's right, and they've got the projectile spines. I don't think any particular vulnerabilities that I could tell.
Yeah, I don't remember them being particularly susceptible to any attacks.
Well, if they're scent hunters, is there something really smelly we could use to make them go away?
That makes the city not a good place for them to reside.
But would that not make that city a good place for other people to reside if it smells atrociously bad?
I mean,
I
look
just
around,
mean,
it's pretty much already
like,
fucked.
To keep them off of us until we can get further in the city and explore?
Well, if we could get some eggs, some of the eggs, draw them away to somewhere that might be more manageable, perhaps.
We could lure them out rather than taking them on in a group.
I guess we could go by the tavern.
Does anyone know any giant spiders?
I can't say I do.
I don't know if I follow where this one's going. What would we do with a spider?
Spiders eat other bugs.
Spiders eat bugs. Just need to catch them in a giant web.
Right.
A very big spider?
I
very,
said
very
giant spiders. Multiples would work.
Mara's solutions to this problem that have been literally happening over the past 2 weeks has just been an amazing growth to see.
All very creative ideas.
It'll be like the woman who swallowed a fly. You just keep adding bigger things.
Are there horses that we could send in?
Well, the only other thing I can think of is if a dragon was what the armies used in the past. We could rain fire from above, but I don't know how much fire we all can create.
Well, what kind of
Well-
dragons is the question too? What kind of dragons before were being used? Because if it's not the specific like fire dragon, it could be like lightning or anything really.
So I say we try to catch the one that's out front, maybe.
How do we know they don't have some sort of hive mind where if we catch one,
Like the worms.
they all come, correct?
Can we knock it out somehow?
What if I just stealthed over all of them with my broom?
I was going to say, perhaps instead of trying to take care of them, we do what Jack Miranda was sort of suggesting, and what Valentine is sort of suggesting, and we scope out the place before, I don't know, getting into trouble.
Ray, what was the lady's name who was like using the eggs as bait?
Oh,
Barkeep.
yes.
The
So
tavern,
you
like
had-
the barkeep.
Yes. I have now forgotten her name because that's not
Okay.
a piece of
Sally?
information that I had. But
Violet.
it's not Sally.
Violet.
Violet. That's the one.
Okay,
Yes.
we got it. Violet.
So it was Violet and her other half, who you never got her wife's name. So yes, it was Violet that was violent. I mean, it was violent. It was violent. But yes, Violet had the deal with Cadence, who created this whole mess to begin with.
Well,
By drawing them here.
I like that idea actually. Valentine, if I go with you on your broom, I can show you where Violet's bar was. We can go see if there's any eggs there, set them off. That's a distraction, and then we fly back really fast, and then everybody else goes in.
So
And we
rather
Post
than you
in to do what?
going in
Investigate without them being attacky. They can be
without
attacking over there.
knowing where they are, instead of going in and not knowing if they're there, I can use my clairvoyance to see if they're there. If you just describe to me what location it is, I wouldn't have to actually be there. I could just use the spell to see within.
Well, didn't we figure out they're nocturnal? So
Exactly.
why would we want to create a daytime distraction?
Well, we
Because
could do
most
this
of them, I
anytime.
assume, are going to be asleep.
Well, one's so awake that attacked Jack. The other,
I was just thinking that maybe if we set off that as a distraction, then they would kind of clear the hive out a little bit for us, so
Us to
We're not-
go in.
so we can go in and investigate with fewer threats.
Is there a natural bug killer, like a plant or anything that can burn?
I have a feeling any natural bug remedy won't quite work with these
Well,
things.
in large enough quantities, it might.
Does
you have
anyone
like
have?
an exoskeleton.
Does anyone have raid industrial?
Stop it! I was just gonna say that. Does anyone have raid in their inventory?
Citronella!
Oh, that should have been the episode.
Oh my god, that's hilarious though.
It's diatomaceous earth, DE.
That stuff works great in gardening.
It does.
She's asking you nature folks because she has no idea.
How far from the hive are we like currently? Like, are we within a mile from it or farther?
Definitely within a mile.
Within a mile? Okay, then I'm gonna sit quietly and I'm going to use clairvoyance to see within the hive.
Alrighty. So, yeah, in an obvious location that is unfamiliar to you. Absolutely. Would you like to see or would you like to hear?
See.
Okay. So, you begin to cast this clairvoyance spell again, as you have done before. And your invisible sensor appears inside a section of the hive. It is going to be incredibly difficult to figure out what section it is. But as you're looking inside, you can see, first of all...
Is there a way I could choose like the closest spot to us? Like it's like, because it says like behind a door, around a corner, a grove of trees. Like, would I be able to choose like this specific area, or is it just like wherever it is?
You'd be able to put your clairvoyance somewhere where you think it is, but from the looking inside, it would be difficult to tell exactly where. You would have to rely on your magic and going, yeah, no, I think that's roughly where that is.
Okay.
There's no specific identifier is what I was trying to say. It's not like the hive is constructed out of rooms.
Yeah.
There's not a map on the wall like a hotel.
Yeah, that's no.
You are here.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hotel Kruthic.
Emergency exit that way.
Yes.
Please do not use the elevators in case of emergencies.
First thing you see is these kind of bulging, pulsing, almost like fleshy sacs that seem to be across the kind of outer wall. They seem to be of varying different shapes and sizes, and they seem to just litter the inside of this hive. The hive itself doesn't really have any kind of specific structure. It almost looks like random half-built rooms that have been mixed in with the infrastructure that was already in Zintane. You can see through the flesh sections of housing where the hive has actually come and overgrown across the majority of the downside. It hasn't destroyed it, it's simply grown around it. As you continue up, you can very clearly see, as your kind of camera, so to speak, pans upwards, you can see there's no specific staircase or anything along those lines. It appears that the creatures actually begin to scale the walls themselves. And as you look down, you can see that there are burrows that continue down through the ground underneath the city. But they don't seem to be very deep. Whereas the worms, you could very clearly see that they were going like straight down. These burrows seem to be relatively shallow.
Okay, so I will relay that information.
You would also see a substantial lack of these creatures that have been described.
So currently it does not look like they are inside the hive.
Wonder where they are.
I was going to say that's almost a little bit more upsetting. If they're not there, where are they? Do we hear anything? Is there any like skittering or gross noises?
Well, I can't. I can only choose one sense. I can only see or hear.
Yeah, where you are now, apart from the occasional kind of like movement of like flesh from the hive itself, you wouldn't be able to hear any kind of skittering or anything along those lines.
I can actually switch to hearing as my action, so I'll try to.
Yeah, you can
switch it.
It is gross. You hear a lot of squelching and
the word.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ray,
Yeah.
I have a question. Are we ever gonna fight not bugs?
Yeah, that's a
At some
great
point.
question. I'd really enjoy this question.
I just
Bear with me. Bear with me. Narrative.
So far, it seems like I die or we fight bugs.
Wow. All right. Call me out. Come for my life, why don't you? Jeez.
so you're admitting it.
No. At least not on stream, not in public. I'm not admitting it. I'm kidding. Yeah, it is gross. You hear a lot of horrible noises coming from both the hive and these kind of almost, ironically, ulcers that seem to be going across the wall. That's what you
They're
need. You just need a
canker sores.
big bottle of Modgella. Problem solved. Yeah, you would hear some skittering from inside the hive at a distance. You wouldn't be able to... It's definitely not within your sight range when it was in sight, but it's definitely coming from down below in those shallow tunnels.
Do the bulging sacs look like eggs, or like, can I tell what they are?
So right now, the way that because the outside of the hive is relatively thin, it's kind of like putting a torch against your hand. You know, when your skin kind of does that thing where it kind of goes all red. And the light in between changes. So when you're looking at your hand and you're looking at the light, it just kind of comes across red. It's kind of like that effect inside the hive. Everything is tinted with this strange red as the sun is piercing through the flesh of the hive itself. It's difficult to see inside of the walls themselves. You probably wouldn't be able to determine whether there's anything inside.
Okay, well, from that information, I'm kind of thinking we could attempt to deposit a few explodey things while they're further underground. So then when they come up, it detonates, but nobody's there. I'm assuming they will come up once night falls, because as Mara said, they're nocturnal.
Yeah, if it seems that they're sleeping, this might be the good time to go and try to find some barrels of oil and maybe sneak them down there, light them up.
I mean, why stop at oil? Find barrels of gunpowder.
We have
Gunpowder? What's that?
I can put a not spiritual guardian.
Still say we need a giant mirror.
How about a giant magnifying glass?
Or that. Either one. The sun is the best Bernie thing we know. Suns. There's multiple suns, right?
There's 3.
See?
3 suns, 2 moons.
That's cool.
Because I couldn't let my physics brain just be boring with a sun and a moon. That's boring. That's dull.
All right. So
are we
we
going to try
take
to just...
advantage of the day and rip a hole in this hive.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to try to sneak past the guardian that's out front, or are we just going to take it out?
I can fly over it, probably.
You and one other person.
Yeah, unfortunately.
How big is the guardian? Is it a big boy?
I mean, you only saw its jaw come out of the ground, and its jaw was enough to envelop Jack. So its jaw is about a foot long, maybe a little more.
Oh, only a foot. Okay, cool.
Only a
cool.
foot.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jack's just a little guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Little lava golem.
Which is funny because when you actually think about it, he's like a third of your height when you.
Oh yeah,
measure.
he's half Orin size. I mean, yeah.
He is your son. He's your little child.
Well,
I feel bad for him, but he's only lava.
Oh, I feel bad for the creature now. Wait, if he's lava,
He may have had a little bit of indigestion, but
Some
That's
actual
about it.
heartburn.
just a wee bit.
What if we just
maybe
kept giving
maybe
him
Valentine
heartburn?
and I could fly over and draw it out.
Out
towards
of the
the
way.
group.
I was just gonna say, do we want to do any recon before we draw them out? Do we
I
wanna-
think-
We tried
Yeah.
doing that with Jack, and then Jack got.
Yeah, the entrance to
Right,
the cave,
so I don't
like,
think-
that's not encompassing the entire city, right? Like, there's places where we can probably scout out through the city that aren't in the hive.
I mean,
But my
your current problem lies in the fact that there is this thing blocking the main entrance ramp up
Oh,
into the city
Okay,
proper.
I see. All right.
Right, but if he is a sentry, sending Jack did not cause a bunch of others to come out.
This
So
is true.
everyone else
Also, if
could
it's
be
just
dormant.
the opening, I mean, it's a wall going. It's a wall, and then you can go over the wall. Correct? It's just the opening that's the problem.
Yeah, there's like a slight incline going up onto Zatine proper. There's like a portcullis, etc., and like a more traditional kind of walled castle. But yeah, your only problem is this thing on the pathway at the moment.
Yeah,
Well-
so like this isn't like we're going on a bear hunt. We can go over it. We could go under it.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
We don't
you
need to go
There
We
are
don't need to go
multiple
through
ways
this
you
hole.
could get past this thing if it's still a threat. Yes.
Because
I
if
would
we have a
like-
flying broom, we also have. I can climb walls.
I personally
close.
would kind of like to see how they fight.
Hmm.
So if he doesn't alert the rest of them, which it looks like he doesn't, I say we take this one out so we can test.
Learn from the
Right.
fight. Okay. Yep.
Instead of just going around. Because then that would tell us exactly what type of stuff we do need to look for inside
Hmm.
to try to take out the hive.
I mean, we've faced one or two at a time. They don't seem to be interconnected the way that the wormies were.
So perhaps we just take this one out.
Do we have like a spyglass so we can see the like the hive close up from far away, like the outside of the hive? Or does it look like there's any hole, like other holes? Does it look like there's a specific entrance to get into the hive, or like?
Does anyone have a spyglass?
Or could we tell from here? What could we tell from here, I guess, if we don't have spyglasses?
The hive itself is immense. You can't see any openings across the entire thing. But then Zatane itself is raised up. Like the actual foundations of Zatane are a good like 10 foot above your current level. So you would probably have to go into the city proper to get a good look at it. And even then you might be obscured by any remaining buildings that might be in the city. So it's a difficult way to see.
So I definitely do agree with a flyby. I think that's a good choice. And if we're drawing, I'm nervous to draw it out just in case like it not returning will cause the rest to come. Like maybe the fact that it came back is what left.
Well, we can fight it right where it is, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. I just don't want, if it dies, to be like a trigger for the rest of them to like, or send more sentries because one didn't like return to its place.
But we've
they're
we've been here for 2 hours and we haven't seen any movement.
Because it's not dead, it just took Jack, is what I was thinking. We can try. I'm just a little bit nervous to try before, like, just kind of like seeing what the...
We can shoot at it and see if it jumps up again. Like I could shoot a crossbow bolt at it to see if it is still there.
Would they have the what is the word I'm looking for? Are they intelligent enough to set up sentries where one would be activated or one would be alerted if they didn't? I feel like they're just bugs. If they're not connected by a hive mind,
Mm-hmm.
there's no harm in trying to take it out.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought too. Ton, you have a wee bit more experience about these little beasties. Do you think if we take that one out, we'll fuck ourselves or what?
Oh, now you're asking for my advice.
Literally forgot he was here. Literally forgot he was here.
I couldn't remember his name, so I didn't want to ask him.
He kind of has, as you've turned around, you just see he's been polishing his shield this entire time. He hasn't interjected. He's just been waiting and watching. He's just, nice to know that I was being remembered about.
Well, I didn't want to rely entirely on you. Try to figure something out ourselves.
You ever been spearfishing?
I can't say I have, no.
It had quite the jaw. We go ahead and get it to snap up, ram a spear straight through. Or something else, sword, pole arm. Pull it out of the ground. That way it won't have a chance to alert anything.
We don't think they're smart enough to have sent this specific bug here to be a sentry, to where if it's taken out, it'll alert other creatures.
The Kruthic have a collective intelligence. They would have already been alerted by now. If they wanted us gone, if they thought that we were a threat, they would have stormed out of there by now. And they haven't, so...
So killing one won't make us seem a threat?
Well, we did send whatever your new friend is to go ahead and prod the defenses, so if they didn't think we were a threat then, they probably won't think we're a threat for getting rid of one measly defender.
Okay, so someone fly above it. We make a trap with like a rope, a lasso type thing. Then we like drop something heavy for it to come up. Then we close the rope and fly it over here.
It could. Does anyone have anything heavy?
We could do what Ton was saying and just give him a good job down the throat when he comes up.
I like
I
that plan.
just pictured, for some reason, something heavy made me think of Ton's shield being used as a sled. Just yeet. Goodbye, bug.
Or Valentine, if we're on your broom, I mean, we can lure him up, and I could maybe just shoot a fireball down his throat.
That could work, yeah.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that what we're doing, team?
Anyone else have
Sounds
a better
like a
idea?
plan.
I
No, but so are you gonna shoot him with the fireball just to kill him, and then you'll drag the corpse back over here, or?
Why are we trying to drag the corpse here when we could just examine the corpse there?
We could, but just in case more come, or more are there besides the one we saw. Because Jack's not very big, so he may not have alerted others that are buried there. Unfortunately, I can't see through the ground.
Well,
Not my forte.
if more come, then we run like hell.
And so the party Scooby-Dooed their way away from the city.
Hey, we
Orin
still haven't
stands
been
up
told
and
if
goes,
we're getting a moon,
"Zoinks!"
so.
All right, so it sounds like that is the plan currently. So that is what shall happen. Valentine and Orin, you can go ahead and get yourselves situated on the broom and fly yourselves over. We're planning on essentially just skimming the ground to kind of bait this thing out, right?
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
My thought was kind of like go close to where he got Jack, and then kind of look back and go, Valentine, just hold on to me belt. Hold on, and kind of lean forward with my quarterstaff, and then go tick, 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 on the ground. And then get ready to pull.
All right.
Hold on tight.
Well, cool. Go ahead and roll a dex save for me.
Bro.
Just Orin.
Oh, okay.
Saving throw. Fuck, that's a terrible roll. 12.
Have advantage.
Oh my god, I do have. I'm gonna burn that advantage.
Okay.
That's not much better.
Oh no.
Oh,
14.
That's a little better.
Okay. Well, you still beat its 5, so you are good. You see the ground rumble this time, and the first thing you see is actually a little spill of this acidic blood coming from the creature as it comes upwards. It attempts to clasp around the quarterstaff, but you pull it away just in time, and it actually kind of comes upwards, and you weakly watch as a section of its flesh drops to the ground, and it actually shakes, and as it begins to attempt to bury itself, it kind of begins to shudder, and eventually you watch as a breath leaves it, and it perishes. It lands on its side against the ground with its jaw agape, and you watch as a slow trickle of magma exits its mouth.
Oh, that a boy, Jack!
It's like that was some major heartburn.
So magma works well.
Right, so we know fire. Fire alert.
Well, at least from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and make a perception check for me, Arn.
Please tell me Jackie Boy survived.
19.
Okay. Even from the little that you can currently see of this creature, this is a very different creature. It's similar to a Kruthig in the sense that it still has the same color and chitinous body. Across the top section of the head you can see. The jaw, however, is way more elongated, and it appears to actually be missing its front limbs entirely. This seems to be a relatively different breed.
Hold up. So not only are we fighting bugs, we're fighting mutant bugs.
It's just never gonna stop.
Apparently so.
Just
Not
bugs.
gonna stop.
What?
Just bugs.
So,
Just bugs.
Okay, back to flooding the city.
all right. So as we kind of like come back and regroup, well, it looks like Jack did take care of that one. It gave it quite a nasty heartburn. Problem is, Aridin, these don't quite look like the ones we fought before. So I think there's different types. Workers, fighters, I don't know. There's probably a queen.
I don't like anything you just said.
I don't either.
How close
How-
to nighttime, are we?
We just woke up, didn't we?
Yeah, not very. You're probably around about midday right now.
We
You took a
just
short
got
rest
here.
Between you got here.
That's a raid. Hello, raid.
Ooh. Do we have anything that we can put in the oh my gosh, brain hive while they are hibernating? Does anyone have any, like, because I have a glyph of warding, but it takes an hour to do. So if I could get in there and hang out for an hour and hopefully they don't come up, that will explode once they do, but I don't have anything else that could like set a trap for them once they wake up.
No, I think we're just gonna have to kill them. There's no traps that I can think of.
That's what I'm saying.
mean,
Like, it's going to be killing them, but just like
I have
from
spike
not
growth. I can
being
make
there.
it harder for them to move.
anyone have any like make it rain in one spot type spells? You just
No.
flood the hive.
Not
No.
exactly my forte.
Well, if
ridiculous.
Does anyone know of any minor volcanoes in the area so we can flood it with magma?
magma.
there's just Thafe to the west, but that's not really minor, and it's quite a far away.
Does a river go past the city?
Does a river run through it?
The river runs through the city.
It actually
Yes.
does. I was making
Yes,
this
there
up.
is a river that runs straight through the middle of the city.
We could dig. and then-
Anyone have earth moving abilities?
I
Right.
feel like I'm having a sense
No.
of deja vu. Didn't we discuss a plan?
Yes,
of flooding?
yes,
we did last-
That was my original
Yeah.
plan. Flood them.
flooding them.
I
Yeah.
will say,
What was my original plan?
Orin and Eridan, you know that the river in the city, due to a previous conversation, the river in the city connects to two lakes on the two sides of the city. It has no source. It's part of the reason why Zatane is so strange and is such a tourist attraction, is the fact that the river and the lakes, quote unquote, are super clean, super pure, and you can take as much water as you want out of it and it never runs out. It has no source. It's a strange, a really weird river.
So let's use that.
That is what
that's
we
a good
need.
idea. Yeah.
We just because this city's already toast. There's no saving it. They're just gonna have to rebuild. So we just flood the city.
I do have Sleet Storm,
That's something.
and I cast a lot of thunder and lightning, but I do have Sleet Storm.
And what does that do?
Just been holding on to that one, have we?
It only just occurred to me. Okay?
I can make everything hail.
Freezing rain and sleet fall in a 20-foot tall cylinder with a 40-foot radius on a point I choose within range. So the area is covered in slick ice, which makes it difficult to rain. So I could technically freeze them a little.
Okay.
And then we get Orin to heat it up, and then it melts, and then it's water, and then we electrocute them.
I got that. I can electrocute them.
Zap,
I
zap.
feel like this is such a complicated plan.
Torn's gonna chuckle and just pull himself up and just... So much planning.
I feel like we should just
We
go
haven't
in
looked inside yet.
and
I would like to.
We have no idea what the situation is currently.
Well, they're hibernating. Well, not hibernating, but they're not
If they're
inside.
sleeping, if they're sleeping, if they're
Krithik don't sleep.
What if
they're not active during the day.
conserving energy?
If what you've seen is that they're not in the hive, it means that they are down below, making more space.
Then perhaps we take this time to go into the hive and see what is going on.
It does mean that they should be leaving the top level alone.
Hop in.
We should
take a
have
look
ample
around.
time to cast any glyphs of warding because
Yeah.
I too have that spell.
We can go in, have you start it. If we run into any trouble, try to take care of it, or run. If you've finished your bomb spell in time, then we blow them up.
Okay, let's go. And then
So we'll have 2 glyphs of warding. Okay. It's good. That's a lot. That's pretty.
Mara's gonna give a motivational speech to all the casters.
I was gonna ask if you had motivational speech. I can learn that.
So,
Yeah, it's a good one.
so me and Oren won't be affected, but all the casters will, including Tom.
Okay. Awesome. So
We're gonna go in there. We're gonna find out what's going on, and everyone will survive.
Motivation.
Motivation.
Motivation
so-
gained.
What is the effect of the speech? Sorry.
Everyone within the next hour has 5 temporary hit points and advantage on all wisdom saving throws. If something hits you, you get advantage on the next attack roll.
And once the temporary hit points are gone, the spell ends. So if something hits you, if it hits you for more than 5 points of damage, you'll get advantage on the next attack roll, but the spell's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. It's handy. It's like, well, I got a little bit hurt, but at least I can hit you back. All right. Cool. So that motivational speech comes into effect. And who is taking point? What's the marching order here?
I'll jump in front.
Yeah, I was going to
Alright.
ask Oren since he's familiar with the city.
This is true.
I think I might be the fastest. So I don't mind going ahead a little
yeah.
bit.
All right.
Would you like to be faster?
Oh,
would.
what's the what's the light situation like in the tunnels?
Oh, I can
We can fix that.
give you light
You
again.
need to get into the. You're going to need to get into the city itself first. The hive is big, but it doesn't encompass the entire city. So that's the
Okay.
first port of call at the moment, is getting inside the city. You'll need to come up the hill and go through the portcullis.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that.
And the best part about motivational speech, no concentration.
Yes, it's just one and done.
Yeah, it happens.
So, the party gather themselves and begin to actually head now into Zatane itself. As you step up past the open portcullis into the city itself, the first thing you would notice, Oren, is the one currently taking point. The first thing you would notice is a scattering of small makeshift daggers that appear to be strewn across the ground in various different areas. You do not see much in the way of blood. There's a few spatters here and there, but noticeably, there are no bodies. Simply just this collection, and they're definitely not regular like daggers. They are definitely makeshift.
Okay. And are they like angled, like pointing up? Is there like an area of like 20 feet that these are like, it's a circle of daggers, or
They're just strewn across the ground in various different places, almost as if someone has just taken a box of them and just thrown them across the ground.
okay.
They're makeshift. Do they look like they were made by bugs?
No.
Okay. I'm kidding.
Random
they spell
bug
a
daggers,
word?
yes.
Wait,
Does
do
it
they look
say
like they were
SOS?
made out of? Do they look like they were
Okay.
made out of parts of the bug, like those spines they eat?
No. If anything, it looks like they were made out of stone.
Boring.
I'm still gonna try to like go into an area that is less populated with daggers because I'm really like afraid of a pit trap right now.
Fair.
And I'm just gonna try to like skirt the area and try to avoid stepping on any of them.
That's absolutely fair.
Mara's keeping her head on a swivel.
Absolutely.
Can
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna put my hand on Mara's shoulder, and I was gonna have Ashtalora fly just a little bit deeper in. And the minute that she sees something, I want to bamf her out because I don't want to lose my cat.
All right. You can go ahead and use your familiar to scout forward a little bit. You almost get a wave of, even though it hasn't really been that long, you get a wave of nostalgia as you haven't seen the city in quite a while, and you've been on quite a journey since you've been here before. You can see the buildings off to the side, the inn where you stayed in and originally found this Kruthic problem. Off to the left, you can see this huge collection of various different market stalls in the center. To the right, you can see the same kind of compact, stacked up, but still relatively beautiful buildings and houses. You actually see one of the houses that you stayed at, where the kind old lady set you up for the night. These buildings seem untouched. They haven't been damaged. They haven't seen signs of combat at all. As you're flying a little bit further forwards, you take a look down one of the alleyways and you can now see the hive itself as it's engulfed a section of this side of the city and has very clearly engulfed a large section of the river as well. And it appears to stretch from this side of the city across the river to the more expensive part of the city. It's taking up a lot of space, but there's still a good few 10, 15 buildings between you and it. So it's not like you are directly in front of it. Again, you see a few makeshift weapons as you continue across. The same kinds of daggers, some spears, and sections of cloth now you begin to see. Cloth and hide, all very tattered and kind of just put together, again strewn across the ground. There is no sign of people. There is no sign of bodies. There are a few splatters of blood, but they seem minimal.
Who would have stayed here once the hive started taking over?
Anybody did?
We attempted to assist in the defense of this place, but once their number grew too big, well, we knew that they would start building a structure, so we decided to evacuate. Turns out they were smart enough to know what that evacuation was. These, however, this is new. The guards here had up-to-date weapons, up-to-date armor. Even the civilians who were in combat used actual smithed weaponry. Someone has been here since we have.
Is there any way to tell from like the design of the makeshift daggers, like possibly what kind of creature made them? If it's like, does it look like something that Soup would carry?
If you would like to go ahead and pick it up and inspect it, you certainly can.
Sure.
I will guide you on that.
All right. Go ahead and roll. I guess at this point it would be investigation.
Could I fly up and like look down from above and see if there's a pattern of any sort?
9 for that investigation.
Sure thing.
Okay.
Did you add the guidance?
Oh no, D4, right?
11.
So as you're going ahead and flying up, not a cryptic pattern per se, but as you're beginning to fly up, you can see that this trail almost definitively leads into a section of the hive. It appears as though the weapons are strewn in a way that would indicate either marking a pathway or perhaps someone or something has been pulled along that direction, and they've then dropped these weapons as they were being moved. Was that an 11 on that roll?
One individual to
Yeah. An 11. This thing isn't made from regular stone. What type, you're not entirely sure, as it's not really your forte. Igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks were probably not a part of your monastery's education program. So,
They freaking should have been, now that we know, but yeah,
yes, yes.
we were more into wood than stone.
I can tell you for sure this is definitely not a regular stone. It almost seems dusty to touch. It is a relatively yellowish rock. And yeah, as soon as you touch it, there's like, not quite ash, but it kind of feels ashy as you go ahead and
It's
through your
poop.
hands.
Just face it, Oren. You picked up poop.
Does it smell? What does it smell like? Sniff it. Sniff.
I hate
Sniff it.
this. Why are
This
we
Lick
time
it.
I'm not gonna lick it.
Lick it.
No.
No.
Sniff it.
It's-
Sniff it.
It smells of sulfur.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Is
Yeah.
it sulfur?
Yeah, it smells quite aggressively of sulfur.
Where was this
Sulfur
found? It was in where they were dragged.
This is what the daggers were made of, yes. They are strewn across the ground.
Sulfur daggers. Okay.
Laid out in a path towards the hive.
I feel like we should follow this path.
Does this have anything to do with the fact that sulfur is stinky? Was Mara
May
right?
have come.
And
May have become a rescue mission. Perhaps.
Well, let's follow the path.
Definitely still an
Worse.
investigation.
We might be able to actually ignite this. I mean, sulfur burns pretty hot, doesn't it?
Well, if we collect them and we add them to the glyphs of warding, then when the glyphs go off, then it might ignite the sulfur.
if nothing else, it'll be very stinky,
It's true.
There's the smell.
right? My plans are coming together.
All of them.
Apparently
All of
so.
them, yes,
All of
every-
the ones.
every-
Chef, is there a
Everyone.
pancake house in this town? Are there barrels of maple syrup?
Somehow, I don't think so. But
Have
I-
we checked? Is there a glue factory?
good lord.
Oh, bubblegum factory. There you go, bubblegum.
Hubba bubba.
Oh yes, yes.
Willy Wonka's
the,
place is just down the road, right?
the Gaslamp Fantasy Hubba Bubba. Absolutely.
Bubblegum Kruthik, come on, let's do this.
Oh my lord, I love all of y'all so much, so much. Yeah, so there are these sulfur-esque made weapons that are strewn across the area. As Ashtalora continues a little bit further forwards, you kind of reach the end section of the city against the wall. So you go ahead and turn into the city proper. You immediately see, as I said before, the buildings themselves. You've probably got about 10, 15 before you see where the hive has begun to take over and kind of just envelop the rest of the housing. Following the weapons, there is one entrance. seems to be. No, please go.
I was gonna say, can I send Ashtalora in that direction?
You certainly could, yeah.
Before you do, when we get close enough, Mara would like to inspect what the hive is like made out of.
That's probably smart.
Okay. Go ahead and roll either nature or survival if you're trying to work out what this thing is exactly, because it is biological matter.
Guide. You're being guided.
I was about to
Guided.
Okay. 21.
21. All right. It's weird. It is almost like skin, but not quite. As you're looking at it, it kind of has the same texture as skin. It's very fibrous. It's very gross, frankly. But as you go ahead and kind of come a little closer, and as you kind of check across with your hand, it almost feels like paper. It's a very strange material, and it's relatively flimsy. Even while you're pressing it, like, you can actually push this section of the wall relatively far through.
So does it crumble like when she touches it? Or is it like spongy?
It's more spongy, but it doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't feel, it feels more kind of dry, like papery, but it seems to still move with a relative gelatinous property to it. It's weird.
Does it cut? Can she cut it?
Yeah, you can go ahead and jab a knife into it. It's not very thick. You can literally just jab a blade through and it will cut like butter. As Ashtalora approaches the actual opening itself, the opening is about 7 foot high. It itself is nothing remarkable. And as Ashtalora flies close enough to actually take a look inside, you see exactly what Jacaranda had described. Just walls upon walls upon walls of these kind of bulbous sections that are all across the hive itself, and it continues up just across the entire thing. And then as you look towards the middle, there appears to be a few minor burrows and one very large burrow, but they are quite shallow. They don't seem to go straight down, they instead seem to go in a direction. And it seems that it continues into the city itself and goes more towards the residential districts.
I relay that information. I'm so uncomfortable.
I just want to add, as we're doing this, I'm like collecting the sulfur, like all the ones that we see. I'm just.
So I was just about. I was at point to that. Could it be that the sulfur knives are making like, why is my brain not working tonight? A fuse, like a fuse.
Oh, maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, you
Jack,
could.
could we maybe just arrange these so they're just touching as
Perfect
we're
line.
going?
Like, are they not touching? Are they just dropped? Like,
Are they just
just
dropped
dropped.
randomly, or do they look like they've been placed deliberately?
Weapons? No, they're just strewn. As I say, like someone grabbed a box and just threw them.
well, I think because the glyphs, they will automatically ignite once they're set off. We don't necessarily need a fuse.
This is true. We could just jam pack as many.
If we have a lot in
sulfur
one spot,
daggers.
it would all go off like
But
together.
If we don't
Like
have
shrapnel?
time, if we don't have time to do your glyph, I can light a fuse. We can all just run out, and I can light it behind us.
But we don't even know if this stuff burns. Someone want to try to see if it burns?
Please
She
don't.
cuts the piece.
Sure. I'll pick up a dagger and I'll cast Saya's touch on it. Which
do you mean
ignites
the hive?
I meant
Hive
the
burst?
piece of the hive.
Oh.
We don't know if it's flammable. I mean, I think it might be, but I'm not sure.
You
she
can cut a section out if you'd like.
I'd cut a section out and say, see if this burns.
And I'll do the same thing because I kind of want to test out the dagger to see how quickly that goes. If it's like, if it would be like a TNT fuse kind of deal. And I'll then hold the piece of skin, I guess, like over it.
God.
So yeah,
Dawn's
it really
gonna
does.
reach into her satchel and give you like a clean rag to wrap to use as a mask. Best not inhale whatever that or those give off.
Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you very much. And I'll put it on. Mask
Way
up,
back
everybody. Wear your
Mask
mask.
up.
All right.
And then
We'll start with the blade. The blade almost seems to react a little familiarly to your touch. It pulses just a little before the entire blade itself becomes sheathed with flame. You go ahead and do the same in your other hand. You use your magic to set this piece alight, and it's immediately gone. It burns straight away and just vanishes. No ash,
Oh.
nothing.
We know why there was a dragon.
Presumably right.
we know why they use dragons. All right.
So I think if we can maybe have some of them as a fuse leading just in case, but I think having a lot in one spot would be a good idea.
I think that's a good idea.
If they're
I
all
feel
really
like-
far down in the hive, we should be able to get down far enough.
I was gonna say, I feel like we should leave quite a large pile as low as we can go. We don't want to burn just the top and still have a live
Agree.
hive below us.
Try to extend this
So
as
if we
far down as we can do it.
and then we do the fuse to the higher up so that the higher up will still burn as the bottom does.
Well, I mean, fire goes up, so.
That's true, but just to make
And if
sure
it brens as easily as that little
It'll
scrap,
flash
I
fast.
Can Astralora see if down the burrow these hive type walls continue, or is it just dirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send Ashalora further down.
she gets chomped on.
The minute she sees anything,
Are we inside yet or no? We're not inside.
No, we're not.
You're not
We're like-
inside the hive yet. No.
Okay.
Right outside.
So Astralora flies her way inside as she is now in this monolithic and honestly disgusting structure. As she approaches the burrows themselves, she immediately stops in her tracks. As one, there is quite an overpowering smell, and two, you can see lined along the walls themselves appears to be the same kind of bulbous things. Yeah, these kinds of like swellings that appear to be scattered along the walls as well.
That wasn't much better.
Swellings?
I-
Swellings.
I hate this.
I'm sorry, it's meant to be gross. And as Ashlora takes a look at this, Oren, I want you to make a wisdom save, please.
Oh shit.
With advantage.
Why?
Yeah, it is with
Advantage.
advantage because you still have
Okay.
motivational speech up.
Oh my god.
No, it's not because he was not affected by it.
Oh,
Only
Oh
the
no,
rest
you
is.
weren't. Yes,
I'm not
you're
a-
right.
You're not
Uh,
a caster.
It doesn't matter because I rolled 6 on both of them.
Oh,
Oh.
jeez.
Plus my, so 9. Oh wait, saving throw? No, yeah, it's still 9.
Okay. You are gonna take.
No.
Oh, so I don't have those temporary hit points either, do I?
No.
Oh, that's okay. You take 1 point of psychic damage as you feel a slight migraine suddenly. Your eye begins to twitch for just a moment before you hear. Before you hear. Oh, sorry. Please tell me what. Don't alert anyone that I'm here. Please. It's taking me this long just to get into contact with you. I am very sorry for the pain. Sorry, do you speak? It's a common you speak. Should I speak a different language? I'm not really sure. Look,
In my mind, I will be like,
what the fuck? Who are you and why are you speaking in my head?
and where the fuck did my actual accent go? I went really London on that, and I.
That's from Ray talking. That's why.
Look, I don't know how I can do this, so I just need to be very blunt with you. At the end of all of this, you're going to find someone. You need to kill them. Whatever you do, they cannot be allowed to leave this place. Who? I can't tell you that. Why? Fuck it, what, when, and where? It's a long story, and I don't know how long I can continue this link. I promise I will tell you. Who are you? I'm in your head. Yeah, I don't trust it very much. Inside check. I'm not going to do anything. You can't can you insight check something you can't see? I suppose you can. Why not?
Did I just want to make sure, like, is this, like, oh, you're gonna have to kill this thing, like, because it's evil, or, like, are they trying to manipulate?
Adam, I think we know what it is.
Yeah, Adam might, and, anyway. I don't know, can I?
You can.
Okay.
It's going to be a very high DC, but you can.
Come on, baby. 7.
7. Okay.
Adam, shoot your dice.
I know, no,
Get new dice.
I'm breaking out my stone set. This is...
You do not have a damn clue. This is a lot. Immediately. And frankly, at this point, you're a little bored of people just appearing in your head.
I really hate it.
No, I don't think, without any good reason, that you're going to give me that I'm going to just kill somebody that I'm going to find down there. If I wanted to get into trouble, I would have killed you already. I'm from somewhere else. I don't have time to explain right now. Just please. You feel the migraine begin to fade and vanish.
I hate it.
Nope. Thanks, I hate it.
Ew, right.
Thorn is going to go ahead and walk right inside the hive. He's going to walk to the left and pull his blade out and just kind of stare towards one of these razors in the wall. He's just going to kind of tilt his head a little.
He would have had to get past Mara to get into the hive, and she's like, "Where are you going?" Ashdalor is still checking things out.
Going to see what's in these things.
I actually wanted to go.
Ashdalor can do that. She is a cat. She does have claws. She can open it.
He kind of
I
just
love-
sighs.
I love that we're like, no, we're not doing. No.
Is his name Tom?
Torn.
Torn.
No, it's
Yes. As in Tawny Owl.
Tawn,
Tawn.
Ton.
Ton.
Yes.
Okay, I'm like, What?
He is a
See, we
he's,
did the
he is
same
he is an
thing.
owl-like shifter. Yes,
We
his
did
name
the
is
same
Torn.
thing, and I thought his name was Torn, and I was like, that's so edgy. I kind of like it.
For like
Torn.
yeah.
Torn.
His favorite artist is
Torn.
Natalie Imbruglia. Yes.
Oh, did you say it was Torn going in? I thought you said Orin was going in.
Oh, Torn stepped in.
Oh, then I don't care.
Oh, you
That
would
is
stop
absolutely
me.
fair. That's
NCC.
absolutely fair.
It's absolutely fair. I don't care. He's a big boy.
I'm gonna follow.
I mean, Orin's a big boy too, but
I'm gonna follow, and I'm going to start doing one of the glyphs of warding, just like in this, like maybe top layer, and then once we get further down, maybe we'll do the other.
Yeah, we'll do the other one. That's what I was thinking.
Just so we have one starting, because this is. I want to make sure like the time
Yeah.
we are here is being used.
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely get that glyph started. Yeah, so you can go ahead and get that spell started. Does Ashtalora want to continue down the tunnel?
Yes. And I still
Okay.
have a hand on Mara's
Mara.
shoulder. Yeah. And I'm deaf and blind, just as a reminder.
As Ashtalora continues, the cavern begins to widen a little bit. There are more of these things strewn across the walls, and as you step, or as Ashtalora steps a little forwards, you hear a slight shriek at the very end. There is an opening of some description, but it is incredibly dark down here, as you hear something skitter across from one side of the opening to the other.
How far
Time
in?
to kill.
How far in do you like from? Oh, it has to be within 100 feet.
Yes.
Do I know like about how far I am?
You would be about at that range right now. This is a large hive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
If anything, you would be pushing it a bit.
I'd relay that to Mara. About 100 feet in, something's in there. So we have about 100 feet until we see them.
Mara
Valentine.
kisses her on the cheek so she knows to come back. Since she can't hear me.
That's so cute, though. What
Aw.
the fuck?
Aww.
Aww. Aww.
Oh no. Oh no, that's so cute. Yeah. Okay. So I'll poof Ashtalora back, and I'll come out of it smiling.
Aww.
So that 100 feet that she got to, were the walls the same? So is it still made of this stuff?
Was it the same? Yeah.
It's all just the walls. The walls themselves are like in the actual tunnel themselves are just dirt, but there are still these things strewn across the.
So do we assume
they-
that they will light if this upper area lights?
You will probably need to put something in the tunnel entrance, but once one lights, they will all light.
Okay.
My concern
Dagger.
with that is that
Dagger.
so say
Dagger.
if something's in the bulge
Mushroom.
and we just make the outside of the bulge disappear. I don't know what word else to use. That something's gonna come out
Every
of the
word
bulge.
is gross.
That something's gonna come out of the bulge because that stuff, it just disappeared like parchment paper. It was just poof.
Well, you know, there's one way to find out, Torn says, and just plunges his knife into one of the ones on the wall of the hive and rips his sword down. You
Anyone want to
see.
change bets?
It's either people. It's either like dead people, or
Baby.
It's gonna be
Baby.
baby Kruthix.
This is say baby
Baby.
Kruthix or mutated Kruthix.
that's
On
the one too.
babies.
takes 4 points of acid damage
Yeah, he deserves it.
Oh, we
as
did not.
a spew of liquid drops onto the ground, followed by the clean skeleton of an individual that tumbles
Okay.
out of the swelling onto the ground.
Does the
So is the hive eating people?
skeleton look humanoid?
The skeleton appears to be a human, probably about middle age.
Can we tell?
I mean, you have 3 clerics.
From a skeleton?
Yes.
You can tell
Yeah.
from the pelvis. However, this entire skeleton has no flesh, no bone, no like sinew. It's just bone. Literally clean.
Oh, that's not pleasant.
I don't know what
So
I was
I don't know
expecting,
if
but
we-
that wasn't it.
Want to continue further, or if we want to go look for more kindling? Because this is a big place. I don't think the amount of daggers we have is going to light the whole place.
Probably
I
not.
mean, if
Probably
This
not,
is
but
a-
it wouldn't hurt to get a little deeper, right?
Kindling
Well,
is a
still-
good idea.
Well, I figured maybe some of us would stay here so that Jacaranda can
Split
continue
the party.
her ward.
And
And then
do my
maybe-
ward.
Some of us can go throughout the town and see what flammables we can gather.
So 2
Valentine.
clerics stay here.
Question for you,
Yeah.
just real
Yes.
quickly. Your broom, you can carry, like 2 of you, not just one of yourself and my little ass, but you can carry everybody. At least maybe Jacaranda.
Absolutely.
Well, Jacaranda needs to stay here.
Yeah, but if you need to make a quick run for it,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because I'm slow as heck.
Oh, I see. You want
I
Valentine to stay with
could-
Jacaranda.
I could maybe.
I'll
help
stay as
with-
well.
I could help Jacaranda if she needs to be a little faster. There's a spell for that.
How long does it last?
Haste lasts. Oh, 1 minute. Boop. Not long.
Valentine, if you're all right, you and I stay here and keep an eye on Jacaranda's 6 and
And then Torn, you should be able to show me where combustibles are? Or were?
On this half of the city, yes. We never made it to the other side.
So, Ton, Mara, and Eridan find flammables. Jacaranda and I will stay and ward up.
All right. Torn will nod and kind of look
However,
at the skeleton at his feet.
Can any of you send messages to us if you're in danger?
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't want to leave you behind. You can't communicate with us.
Is it all right if I assume that that speed is going to be of the essence here?
Yes, I don't want to leave them alone too long.
We'll be here for about, well, an hour.
He nods and pulls his shield up. You watch as a bluish glowing light begins to encompass it. And as he does so, he slams the shield directly into the ground as gently as he can.
Slams.
Before-
Slams gently.
Slams gently is a phrase that came out of my
Lightly
mouth. And
slams.
I'm not going to take it back either, so lightly slams. As there's a contact, there's another little flash of light as he pulls the shield back up. The light almost seems to sit in the ground for just a moment before it begins to twist into the shape of a hoof, travels upwards, and begins to create this relatively large, majestic warhorse as Torn casts Find Steed. He immediately pulls himself onto the creature.
I forgot that he could do that.
Speed is of the essence. Let us make haste. It'll be able to hold all of you, don't worry.
Okay, because I was like, I can't keep up with a horse, so...
That's a big steed.
He goes ahead and politely reaches a hand down to pull people up if they wish.
Ashtalora, Eridan's gonna look at Ashtalora and nod, and Ashtalora is going to turn around and perch herself on Orin's shoulder.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so that's Torn, Eridan, and Mara heading out into the city, and then everyone else is staying here. Fantastic. As one by one you go ahead and find yourselves now on this steed, Torn will go ahead and kind of nod to everyone as he just says, make sure you're keeping safe. Just say the word if you do need us.
We will.
Very well, new friends. And some old. Catch you soon. And he will go ahead and begin to ride the horse off and around, kind of following the weaponed path for a little while, back around before heading deeper into the city with Mara and Eridan in tow. Everyone who is currently at the Hive, the warding process is going just fine. You're not finding any magical interruptions or anything like that, which is always a good thing when you're dealing with, horrible hell demons. You can see... Actually, who has the highest passive perception out of you?
What's the lighting situation like, though?
We
Very
lit something
red.
up for you.
Kitty!
Yeah,
Before we
it's
left.
light. There's sunlight. It's red, right?
Mhm.
It's like sunlight shining through flesh.
Yes,
But-
it's very
Oh.
red.
We were gonna
That's
go a
right.
little farther down, though, weren't we?
Yes. So I was going to nominate myself to go deeper.
Okay, so you want to go through the actual
Because-
cavern that has been...
Yes, because if trouble does happen from down below, I have a better chance of running out than Jacaranda does.
That's fair enough.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Orin will kind of trail but stay back a little bit, so it's like I can see her coming and then start running as well.
Okay. Valentine, are you heading into the cavern, or are you going to stick with Jacaranda, or are you going to do your own thing?
I was planning on sticking with Jacaranda.
All right.
Also,
got
Mara
Jacaranda's
has
escape pod.
inspo.
Yes, Tyler has given inspiration to Mara.
My passive perception is 17.
17.
Oh,
Damn.
yeah, that's better than
All
mine.
right.
Yeah, that's better than mine.
Better than
Mine's
mine.
13.
Oh, okay.
All right. Those of you going into the cavern, so Orin and Dawan, 13, and for Orin,
13.
also 13. Okay.
Easy.
Awesome. So, as you're kind of setting up this this glyph of warding, thankfully, although it is a long period of time, you've done it enough that you don't have to fully concentrate on the spell. As you're looking up and around, now that you're looking towards the section of sunlight that is pouring through this hive, the razors that are scattered across the walls become fully see-through, and you can see a mixture of skeletons and bodies scattered throughout that section of the hive. As the individuals in the tunnel begin to step through, you almost have to push your way past them a little bit. Ashtalora was small enough that she could just kind of go unimpeded, but you two will probably have to go ahead and squeeze yourself past a few of these gross things. With a 13, as you take a look, these ones look very small. They look
Like
relatively
children
familiar.
small?
No.
Okay.
I'm not that twisted. That's a
I
no.
was gonna
No. They look very small. Probably a little shorter than Oren. And as you're looking a little bit, you can very clearly see a defined tail coming from the majority of them. These ones are not skeletons. These ones seem to have some kind of structure still to them.
Can I kind of like investigate one of them to see if I can recognize
I
what
was
they
gonna
might
say-
be?
Nature check. I'm assuming they are pets.
That's true.
I'm assuming they are the cats and the doggos of the town.
If you're deliberately taking a look, these are not pets. These are kobolds.
That's what I thought.
Oh. Well, there you go.
But there's no variation as you're looking into this tunnel. Every single one is a kobold.
Are these... Crap, was the city of kobolds and they had the dragonborn with them? Was that in the same city or was that somewhere else? That was in Faith.
That was in Faith.
That was in Faith. Okay. All right. So it's not those guys.
Well, you know that they had fled the volcano.
They fled the volcano into a hive. Good for them.
Yes, they were encouraged to seek refuge elsewhere, was the assumption that you came up with when you visited Faith the second time, and did not find them.
Do you know these kobolds?
I don't know. I can't recognize any of them particularly, but I mean, we did run into some at the volcano when we came back from the fire plane. It was empty, so I hope this isn't them. They were, for kobolds, quite nice fellows.
Did you meet those kobolds? What would the timeline be? Would they have been, I don't like to say devoured or consumed, but that might be the case in this situation before the people of the city.
I'm really not sure. Ray, would that be a... Oh, God, how long has it been since we came back?
You know that 3 weeks passed between you being in the fire plane and then returning to Yilton. But that's the only time frame you really have. They were there when you left, they weren't there when you came back.
I mean, time passage in the planes, between the planes, is weird. So, perhaps? I can't tell.
I find it interesting that they seem not as clean as the other bones in the entrance. You would assume that the bones in the entrance came earlier than the ones deeper in the hive, or were absorbed into the hive later. Yes, that's what I meant to say.
You'd think that they'd be building from the center out,
Yes.
right? That is strange. Hmm.
Dawn's healer brain is. Yeah, is there like, can I do a medicine check?
You certainly could, although you... How medicine do you want to go? Because this pod is still closed.
I guess no, it's fine. I'll just push through and get it done.
All
But I'm
right.
curious. If I had a bag of
Okay.
holding, I would stuff the bones.
Okay. Yeah, this burrow is relatively shallow. There is a slight bend that leads further then into the city. There's quite a long corridor after that bend. You see exactly what Eridan had described. This kind of large opening towards the end. And you thankfully don't see any skittering. But you would see that as you kind of take a peek around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
The walls of this extended corridor are also covered with these pods.
I think this is a spot.
All right. You do your thing. I'll keep an eye out.
All right. And yeah, I think I would just set my glyph of warding.
The scrying stone used to view this adventure has lost its enchantment. Please stand by while I recast the spell.
And we're back! Hello, hello, hello. You gotta love it when the tech is just like, no. No,
No.
not having it. No, it's fine.
Maybe
It's like one
Tyler's
of
a
those-
techomancer.
It's one of those things where it's like an unwritten rule. If you have technology, it's bound to break at the weirdest time for no reason. It's just an unwritten.
That was like the perfect time, literally, because Twitch was just like, no, listen to Tyler.
It was like, it's been 2 hours, time to take a break.
It's just whatever. Nope, I'm gone, I'm out. Yes, it's all weird techno-psychic powers. I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for it. But yes, we have returned. We are here. We are in a really gross hive of grossness. Yes, our party recently found out that this big hive should be therapeutic. It's not. It's actually full of what appear to be bodies of individuals. The most recently found kobolds. And some of our party have gone looking for some more flammable materials in order to essentially get rid of this thing and everything inside as fast as possible, while the rest are setting up glyphs of warding and making sure that there is a plan set up for essentially detonating this thing and turning it into the biggest stick of dynamite you've ever seen, basically. Which I am pretty here for, so I am fine with that. Where we last left off, Valentine and Jacaranda, you were kind of looking out for each other as Jacaranda was setting up this glyph of warding. Dewan and Orin went a little bit further into the cavern to also set up their own glyph of warding. And Mara, Eridan, and Torn had gone ahead and ventured off further into the city. As you're venturing through, you can still see this place is still empty. This section, weirdly enough, doesn't show signs of battle. There's no weird discarded items or armor or weapons or bloodstains or anything. You carry on through this empty, abandoned section of the town. And it's a little jarring, especially to Eridan, who has seen these streets already full and lively, now being so desolate. The city continues for a short amount of time before ending at a bridge. There are 2 bridges over the river across the center of the city itself. One bridge has been pretty much entirely taken by the hive over on the left-hand side. Torn has taken you over to the right, so you can go ahead and use this. The bridge itself seems to have its own small gateway and portcullis, almost a secondary defense of the fort itself. As you go ahead and carry on forwards, it is here that you see the signs of struggle. You see multiple bodies of what appear to be guards in various different kinds of steel plate, chainmail, etc. Their armor torn asunder, stripped, destroyed. Various different spines and slashes all throughout these individuals as their weapons lie either strewn or broken across the streets, splatters here and there. The individuals who resisted so don't appear to have been taken with everyone else. You can see as best you can that they put up a valiant fight. You find individuals leaning or perhaps pushed against the fortifications of this area, their last stand against the tide of Kruthik. You do see also a few bodies of these creatures. The Kruthik themselves have taken a small amount of losses in this miniature battleground that is strewn throughout the city, or this side of the city, I should say. It seems like mostly runts and spawn that have been taken out, although you do see a few adult bodies mixed with the mess as well. Noticeable due to the quite vast size difference between adult Kruthik and young Kruthik. You can see a definitive path that has been carved through this fortification all the way through to what appears to be a large manor that sits in the town itself. You would imagine this is probably where the nobility of the city rested and lived and did their work and their jobs. This area seems to be covered in the same kind of membrane, but it's not quite a hive. It's more, it's less structured. It's more just sections of the building itself being covered. You do see various different individuals who have also been torn asunder and attacked and essentially ripped apart just across this section as well. But again, you don't see any of these pods. They appear to be missing entirely from this section of the city. Torn takes you off to the right of the manor. There used to be a stables here. I assume there still is. Dry hay is always a good burner. Not fast, but it'll work. Something indeed. I'm concerned by how little of them we've seen. I know it's daytime, but still. Best keep yourselves wary.
And how far is the town that you have been at from here? Could they be headed that direction?
We tried to hold them here as long as we could. I don't think they would pass back across the barrier in order to reach Yilton. If they were going to go anywhere, we probably would have met them already. Seems like they're holding up here for now.
My concern is they don't seem to have any food left, assuming they are using people as food. But then we saw these bodies and they haven't picked them up, so I'm not sure.
I know what I've read from old battle reports and stories. I don't know enough about them to be an expert, but I agree. It's concerning. It's a good job we arrived when we did. At least hopefully we can, at the very least, make a dent. At the most, hopefully get rid of this before it turns into something far worse.
In the old stories, did they serve anyone?
The Krithik have intelligence that is probably akin to ants. On their own, they are not intelligent in the slightest. Simply primal instincts, but the more of them there are, the more intelligent they get. They usually serve powerful creatures that make up their hives. Hopefully it's not big enough to be a concern, but these creatures are far bigger, far more aggressive. Some of the old stories even say they have psionic potential. If they really grew large enough.
Well,
Do we see any straw? Because I'm like putting it in a wagon.
Yeah, Torn will take you right up to this. He'll take you right up to the stable. There's a few kind of empty wagons that have been clearly used. They're more leisure wagons. They're definitely not work wagons, but space is space at the end of the day. You do notice a lack of horses, but the hay seems to have been left completely intact.
probably safe to assume the horses were eaten.
There is a relatively large supply. It looks like they've actually been restocked recently. Not a full stack, not a full amount of hay, but more than a sufficient amount.
So I really don't drink. Is good alcohol more flammable than bad alcohol, or vice versa?
Higher percentage.
I guess it depends on good and bad, but yes, usually like cheap alcohol will have a just pure alcohol percentage rather than flavor. So yeah, bad alcohol is usually the way to go if you want to have things super flammable.
Especially if it's like a 90 proof.
Yeah.
Poof.
You want to go for that. You want to go for that tub moonshine.
Indeed. Also, hi Raiders. What's up?
Raiders.
How's it going?
Hello.
It's a pleasure
Hi,
to see you. Hope you're keeping all right. And you are joining us as we are in a gross situation. We are currently dealing with an infestation of rather gross creatures in this city, and trying to figure out how to deal with them. And the consensus at the moment is burn it all, which is an apt. Whenever you see an infestation of insects, that's a pretty apt response to have. So,
Also,
yeah.
the raiders say that they're here for Rochelle, and yes. Good. That is my input on the matter.
Good.
So on the way back when we're taking the straw, we may want to stop if you guys know of a lower class inn or pub and grab bad booze.
There is the tavern right back towards the entrance of the city itself. We have stopped in there before. More than likely, there's still plenty of alcohol in there to be consumed. We can go ahead and use that as our igniting agent. And as he says that, is galloping back. I would like you all to make dex saves.
Glad I'm not there.
Yeah.
Oren's got bigger problems.
Yeah.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, that's about correct. A dex save?
A dex save, please.
I believe in you. Nope.
I think you have an advantage.
I do have an advantage that I would very much like to use. I'm gonna pick a different die. Wait. Where'd the lucky one go? Here it is. I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh!
Oh no. What was it?
I rolled the same thing.
Oh my god.
So that's a 7.
We're having a
So
bad
both-
dice night.
Both Torm and the steed succeeded, so that's good. As you travel back to the inner fortifications, you hear the slight clicking and chittering. As you look up towards the top of the portcullis, you see 2 of these Kruthic suddenly pull themselves up out of the towers themselves. They look towards you. You watch as their jaws unhinge and open. Their spines then come upwards as their shoulders begin to rise up and up. They position themselves and fire a volley of these sharp spines directly towards you.
Confound this blasted thing. It's the last time I shop at Sorceress Sundries.
Everyone succeeded on the dex saves apart from Herodin. So
What else is new?
Hey, with my
It's
dirty
just-
20, I should be able to protect her some.
yeah, it's not going to be too much damage because these are
I have
little.
motivation.
They are
I have the motivational speech.
itty bitty Kruthic. It's not a wisdom save though, but you have like 5
Extra
5
hit
HP.
points. Yes, I do.
It's the wrong dice. I probably shouldn't use the wrong dice. That's a bit cruel.
Please don't use the metal ones.
Okay, so you have 1 temporary hit point left. You took 4 points of spike damage as one of these spines comes directly towards you. You watch as the majority of them just scatter across. You watch one kind of sailing for your head. Mara grabs you by the shoulder and pulls you just to the side. It still does indent into the side of your shoulder / the beginning of your arm, but it is a far lesser wound, as you can feel this slight lingering magic almost dull the pain. You begin to carry on. Just essentially the mount speeds up, as you can probably imagine, and sprints across the bridge and further down as you hear more of these clicking noises. Going back to the hive, as everyone is finishing up their glyphs, Oren and Dewan, you notice at the very end a slight shadow move. You hear another skittering and a little bit of clicking. You see another shadow.
Orin, I'm done with the spell.
Yeah.
I think it's time to go.
Yeah, I was about to ask if you were finished. We should
What were our
probably get out of
conditions?
here.
Because we have to set conditions for when they go off.
You do indeed. So now that you've completed the spells, what's your condition?
Our conditions should be
For me, I'm thinking anything that's not our party, but is designated Kruthic. We'll set
Anything
it
not
off.
bipedal?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say anything not
Anything with more
anything
than
not
2 legs.
mammalian. Wait, nope.
Nope,
For me.
Starship Troopers this shit. Kill anything with more than 2 legs.
Great.
Well, I was gonna say anything that's not mammalian, but then I had to think of Jacaranda, our tree friend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right?
Well, I'm not going further down, so yours doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Orin,
so
you would know that in a previous conversation, you know that these things are considered monstrosities.
So any monstrosities that come
Any
across.
So you can
Monstrosity.
specifically trigger it as monstrosities if you would.
I think just any
And
kind of monster.
I'm doing fire on mine, specifically fire.
okay.
But you could do others. I wouldn't do acid because their blood seems to be acid.
Well, you can just do explosive runes, right?
Yeah, explosive, but you have to designate what kind of explosion.
Yes, you do. So explosive and fire. Cool.
Yeah, explosive
Fire.
and fire. Oh, I see
You-
now.
You set these glyphs and begin to bolt as you hear more of this chittering and running. You see more shadows bolt past your peripheral view as you go ahead and turn and sprint upwards.
And
Valentine and Jacaranda, you now also begin to hear the skittering.
Okay, I was gonna say I was going to say that I was going to send ascending to Jacaranda just in case.
Okay.
But I didn't know
They're
how deep
coming?
we were. Yeah, just like time to go.
We're getting on the broom.
Hop
And I
on.
like that Mara and them are close enough that she's using message on Jacaranda, so she has incoming both at the same time.
Like when you get
Perfect.
2 texts and your phone just vibrates.
I don't know what's happening, but we need to go. How would that work if we're coming in at the same time? Would I just hear both at the same time and be like,
Yeah, you kind of just hear like one talking in one ear and one talking in the other at the same
You
time.
get the distinct feeling it is time to leave.
Yes, indeed.
getting on
And-
that broom?
Mhm.
As you're going ahead and getting yourself sorted and heading out of the tunnel, Jacaranda and Valentine getting ready to jump on this broomstick, you feel the ground begin to shake.
I have
underneath, just
a
ever so
question
slightly. Mhm.
or statement. How much can your broom carry?
My broom can carry quite a bit of weight. It can carry up to 400 pounds.
So can I like put my arms and legs into like almost like a little cubby so that they can hop into my arm and leg branched cubby to be suspended from the broom?
Yeah.
With us?
You would like to be a chair.
A hanging
No,
chair.
a hammock.
A hammock.
You certainly can, yes.
All right.
That is
So
absolutely
that we're
a
all
thing you can
flying
do.
because flying is faster than
Yeah, so you guys are waiting for us.
yeah.
Yes. I will say you probably can't fly far with that many people, but I'm going to say just because it's cool, yes. You can go ahead and Dewan and Oren can also go ahead and squeeze onto the broom.
I mean, you're carrying 2.5 people, so.
Kind of getting the image of like one of those I don't know, it's like one of those broomstick rides at like the carnival or whatever. I'm just getting it in my head now. It's
Like a
wonderful.
carousel. A Harry Potter carousel or something.
Oh Lord, yeah. Yeah, you get this all set up and prepped. You watch as Jacaranda's body begins to shift and morph. This rumbling begins to increase. As suddenly you hear sharpened footsteps and a slight buzz of magic. And as that happens, we're going to go ahead and end the session and wrap up there. We shall continue next week, where
Nope. Bugs should not be casting spells. No.
I really
I
don't
never
like
said the
any of
bug
it.
was casting a spell.
I
It's
really
fine.
don't like any
Don't
of
worry
this.
about it. You don't know. You don't know. Yeah, thanks for joining us, folks. We have a whole bunch of wonderful people here. Just gonna do a quick around the table to get everyone to introduce themselves. We'll actually start with Mark.
I am Dragon Gem Rochelle. Dragon Gem on Twitch, the Dragon Gem on Twitter. I'm actually going to start streaming Magic the Gathering Arena again this next coming Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain. So join me there, and you can see me here every Monday.
I definitely also just said Mara, because it was the first thing I read on Zoom. I am so
That's
sorry.
fine.
Yes, the wonderful Rochelle. Cool.
I thought you said cool, and I was like, okay, who's next though?
Cool.
Hey, howdy, bye, I'm Cole. You can find me at Comoriel on Twitter. I do lots of art things, and I do the art for Friends Who Roll Dice. You can catch me here on Mondays playing Aridin, and you can catch me tomorrow on Rule of Lore playing Shahara, my drow bard, and we're gonna be gay and do some heist, so come hang out with me.
Awesome. Melissa.
Hi, I am Melissa, and I am at So Much Geek on wherever I am. So Twitch and Twitter and Instagram, all under So Much Geek. I also just recently opened a little store on Society 6 and soon to be Threadless. So keep an eye out there. I will be posting it on Twitter. But yeah, I also stream here, so if you want to follow me, that's cool. And if not, that's cool too. Just enjoy yourself and do the things you want to do.
Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jessie, who's the moose on the interwebs. I mean that, truly. You can catch me here on Mondays doing this, where next week I will be in the tech hot seat, and let's see what sort of hijinks I get up to. Hopefully nothing, because I'll make a sacrifice to the tech gods. What sacrifice? No one knows. I do art things, too, when I'm not sleep deprived, which is never currently, so hopefully that'll be soon.
Biggest
I do
of
art
moods.
things.
Biggest of moods.
Listen, between the 7 a.m. PT and the 7:40 doctor's appointment and the midnight, I'm tired. I'm tired. But there are things in the works I am very excited about that I cannot talk about right now, but hopefully I can talk about soon.
Secrets. Leona.
Hello, my name is Leona. You can find me on Twitter at the Leona Maple. You can find me here on Monday nights. You can also find me behind the scenes at Vibrant Legends. It's our All Bimpock one-shot series that you can find over on the Dicey Amazons. They're freaking amazing, so you should definitely check them out. Saturdays at 2 p.m. PST if you want to come hang out with some awesome Bimpock folks. We should be running some really cool stuff this upcoming Saturday. I don't remember what we're running, I'm sorry, but it's something new every week, so there's always something fun to come watch. Beyond that, feel free to follow me on Twitter to learn more about what I do. And that's me.
Fair. Adam.
Hello, I am Adam. You can catch me at Adam Hardy VO on Twitter and Instagram when I'm actually feeling social media social. But I also do all the post-production for The Mind and the Martyr, so if you want to catch up on what we've been up to, if you want to understand what the hell are they doing, check out our YouTube at Friends Who Roll Dice, and also we have our podcast version as well. If you prefer to just listen to it in your car, you can find that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Play. We're kind of all over the place.
Awesome. Thank you to all the fantastic folks here. I am Ray. I've been your humble GM. You can find me at Red Mage Ray on Twitter. You can find me in a couple of other places. You can find me over on Polished Cryptid's channel, where we're running a level 12 to 20 sequel of Curse of Strahd, which is super fun. That's every Friday. You can find me over on Savoric's channel on Saturdays, where we're playing through an Old Republic Star Wars game, which is also super fun. We are getting into so much trouble, and we are all going to suffer, and I hope not. But yeah, we're in trouble in that campaign. We're in big trouble, but it's going to be fun. yeah, go ahead and check out Twitter. Follow at Friends Roll Dice if you want some of our updates. We have a whole bunch of stuff in the works, but we can't really talk about any of it yet. So it's just kind of sitting on it like we're excited, but we can't. Yeah, keep an eye. We're going to be announcing a bunch of stuff super soon. And if you like what you saw, go ahead and follow all of these wonderful people. Go ahead and hit the follow button down there. And if you've got any of those Twitch Prime subscriptions lying around, consider helping out the channel. It'll go towards us being able to put on more charity fundraisers and other such stuff. Thank you to our sponsors, the wonderful folks at Certain Nerdware, and the awesome people at Grinding Coffee, and our friends at Emporium as well. Thank you so much for sticking with us during all of the tech issues. Do we want to go send Total Party Chill some love?
I was just
Considering we haven't rated them in a while. We haven't rated them in a while. We can go show them some love.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, folks. We're going to go on a raid and spread the love that you have shown us. Thank you. Please keep safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, keep yourselves well, and look after yourselves. We will see you, hopefully, next week.
My
Keep
thumbs are
moving
stained
forward.
with beets.
Take care. Have a great evening, guys. And join us for the raid. Beach thumbs.
They're totally stained.